guys, welcome back to Module 5. This is video number 3, I believe, in Module number 5. And the last time that we talked about really narrowing our focus down to who it is that we're specifically called to serve and our unique kind of advantage that we might have because of who we are, how God's created us, and the heart that we have to reach those people. And as you've done that now, I want you to it's almost like taking another breath in the midst of your journey, remembering why it is that you're doing what you're doing. Call this the why, how, what progression. Rather than just waking up each day and thinking about what you have to do, you wake up each day and you remember why you are doing it, why you're called to do it. Too often with any kind of business adventure of any sort, we think about what it is that we have to do each day, but we don't often think about why it is. And the companies that actually think about their why first and remember that often are those that are the most successful. And then when they speak about how they do what they do, before they even get to what they do, it matters. In fact, if you were to think about companies that are probably the most successful, you would think about Apple or Southwest Airlines, those kinds of places. Those are the kinds of companies that have been thinking more about why they do what they do, how they do it, before they even get to what they do. It's the same for us. It's important for us to maintain our focus, to remember our why. We are good shepherds going after lost sheep. And in the scriptures, we're reminded of these things about that. The shepherd watches over his sheep. He protects them, gives them life, and feeds them if they need be. The good shepherd knows his sheep, calls them by name. God cares about one lost sheep. And that's how we will think as we think about this why, how, what progression. And one of the things that I want you to think about is how that why can inform your what. One of the things that I've done is I've listened to a lot of entrepreneurs. I would encourage you to do this. One of my favorite podcasts to listen to is How I Built This with Guy Raz. If you haven't, put it on your list. Listen to it. I've listened to dozens, maybe over hundreds of them. One of the things that you will hear over and over again, I've listened to entrepreneurs from my own city tell their stories. As they tell these stories, it's unanimous. Hard work and perseverance are those things that have to be matched up to your why. When you really truly know your why, you will be able to work hard and never give up, as the scriptures tell us. And as like the Apostle Paul tells us, he says, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. We love to put that on our shoes or our shirts. But the truth is he was enduring hardship. He was in prison. He was being whipped, flogged, beaten for his faith. And he could say, this is what I can say is I can do all this. I can endure this. When you are called to do the thing that you're called to do, and you are committed to it, and you're convicted by it, this will help you because I guarantee it, you will get up some days. You might even have some of these thoughts even right now, and I want to encourage you, don't listen to them. But it's true, what will happen is you're going to have this thought, the work is going to be too hard. You're going to get up some days and you're going to think, I don't think I have what it takes. I don't know if I can do it. And when that happens, I want you to remember your why. Remember why it is that God has called you to do this. And you can ask yourself this question: in what way will you be able to be the good shepherd to those to whom you are serving because you know your why? And as you understand your why, I want you to begin then to think about finding your voice. For any entrepreneur who is going to cast a vision about who it is or what it is that they are doing and to whom they are called, every entrepreneur has to find their voice. As you find your voice, I want you to, it's almost as if you're thinking about your passion and your mission that you're called to. And if you're going to write your vision statement down, which I would encourage you to do, you should be creating that throughout this whole process. And you should be able to have an elevator speech ready to go at any time to tell people what you're passionate about. If you're spending the time to go through these classes and listen to these videos that are so captivating, yes, they are, because I believe that if you're taking the time to do this, what you're called to do is important to do. And as you're remembering your why, then I want you to start to formulate in a 60-second timepiece how you can convince people that what you are going to do is worth them not only taking a minute to listen to, but to ask you a question like this: tell me more about what you are going to do. And as you share that with them, it is important to be prepared. This is what creating your pitch is all about. In fact, in the scriptures in 1 Peter 3:15 and 16, it says this: but in your hearts, revere Christ as Lord. Always be prepared to give an answer to anyone, to everyone who asks you to give the reason for the hope that you have. I think it's perfectly right for you to take that verse and marry it to what you are doing. We already talked about you are called, you are gifted, you are empowered by the Holy Spirit to take this good news of Christ into the world in this unique way that God has gifted you to do. And as you find your voice, always be prepared to tell people about what it is you're doing. Even so that in such a way they ask you, tell me more about what it is that you are doing. I've had an opportunity to do this many times where I've had to ask people to get behind something that I'm working on, or to join me on my team, or to invest in what I'm doing. And it's so important that I've thought through exactly what I want to say, the words I want to choose, making sure I've crafted my statement well, because you might only get one chance to tell people what you're up to. And if you're going to get lettering on your white van and you want it to say what you want to say, and you just happen to walk into an elevator and you meet a guy who wraps vehicles, you got to be ready to give him that 1-minute pitch for why it is that he should donate his wrap to your van because of the great thing that you're going to do for God. And so I want to encourage you, think through this. If you only had 60 seconds with someone and you had their ear, what would you say to them about what you are called to do? Don't be afraid to even talk a little bit about yourself. Talk about your heart. Talk about your mind. Talk about yourself as a leader and the ways in which you are called to go and alleviate suffering in the world. And I promise you that when God puts you in the pathway of those kinds of people, He will give you the power that you need to share this good news with them, and people will buy in to what you are doing. But they won't do it if you don't know why. They won't do it if you don't have this all put together well. You might have a huge heart. You might have a great idea. But I promise you, you've got to put the work in to make sure that you know exactly what it is you are doing. You put it crafted into that tight statement so that when you're ready, that when God puts those people in your path, you're going to be able to share it with them. And when you do, watch what God does with those opportunities. We'll see you in the next video.